Hello everybody, this is Catholic Dad, episode number 455. Men need women and women need men, actually, believe it or not. Society today kind of tells us that we don't need each other. And we've been talking about the fallen nature of man and woman the last couple videos. To recap, women in the garden, the serpent came to her, to Eve, and she fell for the temptation of I want to know what God knows, and therefore she did what she wanted, and that she fell to the idolization of the ego, or the idolization of self. And then she went to Adam and said, well, you eat the apple, and he had a decision to make, and either he was going to choose God's law or pleasing his wife, and what he decided upon was pleasing his wife, and he fell for the idolization of the feminine. So our fallen nature, I've talked about, is that the women go to social media for the most part in modern day because they're looking for the stroking of their ego, affirmation, people understanding their plight, their burdens, and everything else. And then man goes to pornography because he's about idolizing the feminine. Now, so then we're stuck in this rut, right? Because men are worshiping women outside of the realm of womankind, right? So they're doing the awful thing of pornography, and women are getting their affirmation from some external source other than men. And how do you break that dang cycle? Because the fact of the matter is, to solve the concupiscence of woman, which is the idolization of self, and the man worshiping the woman or idolizing the feminine, they both need each other to solve that problem. If you don't have each other, you can't solve the problem, because the solution to that problem is family life, that men and women actually need to be with one another and form these families. That's how Western society was built. That's how humanity is built and culture is built. And so you'll hear people, and I've heard it before, like a woman saying, well, there's this big porn problem, and I will never be with a man who has a porn problem. Yeah, I get that, right? I understand that. And then you hear from the lazy guys that you can't please women anymore. They're just impossible to please. And so who the heck wants a woman? I have my own thing going on over here. Yeah, I get that too. I understand that. So how do you solve this problem? And I think honestly, the solution to this problem has to be one of culture. That men and women actually have to hang out with one another in kind of neutral environment, neutral grounds where concupiscence doesn't overwhelm them. And I was actually thinking about men and women actually need to start dating again, like really dating, like, hey, let's go out for coffee. Not anything serious, but hang out and be amongst each other, because the presence of each other to each other is actually enculturating event. Like it will tame a man's weirdness, and a woman's excess will also be tamed by a chivalrous man. And then they can dance together. They can actually learn how to actually dance. They can learn to sing together, play music together, and they can actually fall in love together. And so, and your inclination for concupiscence will be directed toward the good at this point in time, meaning another human being. And if you do it with chastity and holiness, you court each other and you end up married. And the massive problem in the world today is that people are getting married way too late. Your early 20s, you're prime for marriage, right? Your late teens, you're prime for marriage. But now everybody's like, don't get married before you're 30. Well, yeah, that's a problem, because you know how many immortal souls you're going to destroy in your 30s if you're not married? I mean, everybody struggles with chastity as younger people, and you're younger people not married. It's like you're on a mission to destroy the souls of each other. And when that happens, like women become disenfranchised with men, and men become disenfranchised with women, and they go to their own corners, which is the social media sites, and I'm going to do this, and you become the old cat lady. And then the man who's like, I'll go do the pornography and my self-serving thing, and I won't be with a woman. And that's a problem, people. And so our enculturation, like as parents or more mature people, we have to actually tell the kids they have to get together, and they actually have to start doing Catholic things like dancing and singing and joy and having fun and enjoying each other and falling in love. And then if they fall in love at an early age, then actually making families, and like that's how you build culture. And there's really no other way to do it. And that's the funny part, that men and women actually do need each other. In fact, young men and young women do need each other. And you hear it all the time. Like oh, I don't want her getting married young because she needs to finish her degree and become independent from man. No, she actually needs to be dependent upon man. That's what she needs to do. Or the man saying, well, there's so many ladies out there. I'm gonna wait and find a really good one. No, that's not the way you do it either. Because the bottom line is, if you wait to get married, you're probably getting older and less desirable as you get older. It's just the way it works. And there's nothing more pathetic than like somebody who's kind of lived just for themselves for all eternity, right? And so that's the point, is what I'm trying to make, is that man and woman actually need one another, and they need to do it on neutral grounds. This whole woke culture that women actually believe men are their great oppressors, like if you have that woman, you're a problem. You're actually a real problem, and you shouldn't even like desire to have a spouse, because how can you go into a relationship telling another individual who you want to actually be married to that he is oppressing you, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? Like throughout all of human history, men have died the majority of the war deaths, and women were protected the whole time. How is it we're the great oppressors if the ones who are being protected are the womankind, right? Like you may say that, and for the majority of the time, the great hard laborers were men. All the buildings and roads were built by men. Like, men are not the oppressors, and boys or men on the other side, women, they're the great nurturers, right? The great lovers of society. Don't think that they hate you because you're a guy. Like, literally, don't think that you don't want anything to do with them because they're too overbearing and controlling. No, that doesn't make any sense, because you can't go into a relationship like that. You literally have to like support one another in the context of getting to know one another. And so I guess that's all I want to say. I'm rambling today. Build culture that to solve this problem with the concupiscence of original sin, the only solution literally is a celibate life within the religious vocations, number one, or number two, family life and marriage. That's it. There is no other solution. And if we as Catholics, which it happens all the time in the Catholic worlds, delay marriage, delay getting responsibility, go out and have some fun, live free, whatever else, that stuff is destroying culture, and Catholics have to stop doing it. And so this is Catholic Dad making you think about it. Please like or subscribe, get to Mass, and pray the Daily Rosary. Thank you, and God bless you all. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say. My kid got married really young, okay? And that was, I thought, good, right? But I was still, maybe it's a little bit too early, but I'm seeing the fruit that it's paying off with. It's really, really quite beautiful and nice. But then I was in at work, and I had a patient come in, and I said, hey, so you have any children? Yeah, I have a son. I'm like, oh, great. What's he do? And she said, oh, he's so wonderful. He's such a great son. He's 27 years old. I'm like, well, what's he do? Oh, he drives me to doctor's appointments. I'm like, well, but what's he do for a job? Oh, nothing right now. He doesn't really need one. So he hangs out with me and drives me to doctor's appointments. And so you got a 19-year-old kid here. You're like, it's too young to get married, right? And then you got a 27-year-old kid here who's a complete loser, okay? There's not a big difference between too young and complete loser. So just think about that. As you're saying, oh, it's way too young, you're a young person, you don't know what you're talking about. If the potential spouse has virtue, don't even worry about it. God will provide. I guess that's all I have to say. God bless you all. Thank you.